Another year dawns on the green and gold of the Green Bay Packers, and this is our year. Fireworks struck twice during family night. Is it a sign? The defense is putting up one hell of a camp thus far, and do we actually have red zone scoring tight ends? The Eagles will find out as we seek first blood in the 2017 preseason next on your Packers Fan Podcast.
Hey, Packers fans, this is your unofficial Packers Fan Podcast, and these are the podcasters you're looking for. One of these guys was once a club DJ in a country saloon, and the other guy gave up his seats on the 20-yard line so 12,000 more fans could enjoy the game live. And now it's time to Go Pack Go with your hosts, Wayne Henderson and Troy Heinritz.
In response to that age-old question, heck yeah, we're ready for some football. This is the Packers Fan Podcast, the show by and for fans of your 13-time NFL champion, Green Bay Packers. And we still have our feedback hotline. It's time to fire it up, put it back on your speed dial. It's area code 920-3PACK-GO. That's 920-3PACK-GO. Give us a call. Be part of an upcoming episode of the show because it won't be complete without your call. You can also leave your feedback at packersfanpodcast.com/feedback. Let your voice be heard. We've got a voicemail widget right on the website so you can record your message right from your phone or your computer from anywhere in the world and sound crystal clear. This is episode 132 of your Packers Fan Podcast, recorded August 9th, 2017. 12 years ago today, I started podcasting, and I knew it would get to more Packers talk all the time. Can you believe 12 years, Troy? What the heck? Unbelievable.
You talked about Packers on your very first podcast episode back in 2005. So we are here now 7 seasons into the Packers Fan Podcast. It's fantastic to be with you back again for another fantastic season.
Absolutely. And we've got show notes for this episode at packersfanpodcast.com/132.
On this episode, we'll be discussing the highs and lows for the first weeks of training camp, all the happenings during family night, sold out once again, and plus we'll see where the roster is with the latest injury news and pickups.
Plus, preseason is upon us, so we preview this week's matchup against the Eagles. Troy, you're going to provide your keys to the game, and there's some other news circling in the great city of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And imagining the smell of Lambeau Field from here in Southern California, I'm at Wayne Henderson, your voice acting, podcasting part owner of your 13-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers.
And deep here behind enemy lines in Chicago, planning my road trip to Super Bowl 52, just a few states away, I am at Troy Heinritz, your gold ticket package holding part owner of the soon-to-be 14-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers. The Packers Fan Podcast is available on demand and on the go with our free Packers Fan Podcast app. We got it for iOS and for Android, so we play for both teams here because everybody's a winner when you're talking about Packers football.
And speaking of supporting Packers football, we want to send out some thanks to longtime Patreon supporters. Texas Only Packers Fans, their Facebook group, is supporting the podcast at Patreon at the Brett Favre level. And much like Brett Favre, the Texas Only Packers fans never give up. Also, special thanks to Alex J. at the Curly Lambeau appreciation level. Well done and much appreciated.
Yes, you can help make the Packers Fan Podcast even better by becoming a Packers Fan Patreon MVP supporter. It helps us grow the show and bring you more great content each and every week about your Green Bay Packers. You get rewards too, so check out all the different levels by visiting packersfanpodcast.com/support. You might even be able to get to go to a game with me at Lambeau Field during the 2018 season. My friend and good buddy, Kevin McDonald, will be joining me at the Cincinnati game this year for his 40th birthday present. So if you want to come sit with us at about the 45-yard line on the Packers side of the field, you got to get up there to the Reggie White level, but just whatever you can give to help support your Packers Fan Podcast would be very much appreciated, much like Alex and, of course, the Texas Only Packers fans. Whoa, I love those guys down there. I got to get down there for the Cowboys game and hang out and party with them peeps.
I think that would be a fine idea, Troy. Now, training camp, is it considered over now that preseason's upon us, or do they overlap? What's the latest, Troy?
Well, I think you can consider the entire preseason training camp because we're training for that fateful day, the big opener against the Seattle Seahawks Yes, we are playing them at home. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait. But first, we got 4 of these kind of, little dancing, little sidestepping things we got to do just to make sure we flush out that roster of 53. And the training camp portion, we've been going for about 10 to 12 days now. It's in full swing. And I think what we're going to do here is just pick a few of the standouts at each positional area for this episode of the Packers Fan Podcast. And first up, we have to start where we left off last season, and that's number 31 against the pass in the NFL. Yes, the secondary was abysmal last year, Wayne, and we spent all of our hard-earned cash, all of our hard-earned draft picks to say, yes, we are going to climb that ladder, be better in the secondary. Do you think we're able to do it this year, Wayne?
I really do. I mean, last year, even with the talent, if everybody was healthy, we would have struggled a little bit, but with all those injuries, it was no surprise we were 31st. It's just hard to say, but we are definitely better. And I was so excited, like we talked about on the previous episodes, on draft day to see all the defensive players being selected.
Yes, we always say here at the Packers Fan Podcast, our motto is, in Ted we trust. And one person that we're very happy to see back in the Packers organization is Devon House. Yes, he made the drive all the way from Minnesota with some buddies of his to get back to camp in time, which was fantastic. Love those off-season stories. And luckily, all of our injuries seem to be healed up. But surprisingly, the one rising star of camp so far that's looking to shake off last season, much like he was shooken off by Julio Jones. Yes, that's right. Quentin Rollins is actually the step-up player in the secondary for camp so far. What do you make of that?
I love it. I just want to see everybody stepping up on the defensive side of the ball. And just, I've been overshadowed with the Devon House news because I think that's the most exciting part of the defense right now. But Quentin Rollins, and yeah, I think we do have to play Julio Jones yet again, right?
We sure do. We sure do.
So
those first place finishes. Yuck. Who made up these schedules? Why don't they take my scheduling idea? Let's get on that.
I love your idea. I've talked about that many times.
Yes. But surprisingly, you think Demarius Randall would have had the bounce back, but no, it is Quentin Rollins who's going to have the Devontae Adams bounce back year, if we like to coin it that way. And he's really going to be doing what's best for him, which is going to be probably moving back in the slot on the dime and nickel packages. So I think with him in there, we can see some maybe hard hitting, creeping up into the box even a little bit, be able to cover the middle of the field. Imagine that. That would be something new for this year. And I think Quentin Rollins might just be that best spot there. But that only happens because draft pick Kevin King has also been with the first team for most of camp. So clearly Kevin is making a name for himself right out of the gate as well.
Yeah, that name just, it sounds almost like the name of a veteran because we've been hearing so much about KK, Kevin King. And I'm just so anxious. I know that tomorrow night's game is just preseason, but it's going to be good to see some of these rookies in action and see some green and gold on the field.
Especially when it's our field at Lambeau.
Yes. Oh, well, that's the understatement of the year. Absolutely.
Now, it isn't all the secondary's fault, right? Because there are a front seven that's responsible for putting pressure on the quarterback, helping him make mistakes, and that gives the opportunity for the interceptions to happen. And so the front seven's pass rush was a little bit, we'll say, lacking over the last 2 seasons, not even just last year. And that's one of the reasons why we needed to rebuild it. And we can rebuild it, Wayne. We have the technology. We can make them better than they were. Better, stronger, faster. Can you believe these are the exact words that Mike McCarthy used as he was describing the work put up by one D. Lowry in camp so far this season?
So he was channeling the intro voiceover for the $6 Million Man television show?
Delivered it exactly the same in the press conference from what I heard.
Nice.
Yeah, but Dean Lowry, he's really been one to watch out for. And I think with him, as long with Matthews, figure out where they're going to actually all play. It's going to be really fantastic to see what Lowry is going to be able to bring to the table. In fact, it's all about affecting the quarterback, Lowry said, and maybe you don't get a sack, but a pressure can force him into a bad decision. That is as important as a sack. I think effective pass rushing has a high correlation to winning games, and that's been our focus this offseason. I am really glad he's saying the things that we've all been saying for 2 years.
Yes, because it wasn't that long ago that we had an effective pass rush. and then it just kind of vanished. So the fact that they recognize that there was a problem and we're going to turn it around, I mean, that's one of the most exciting things to see on defense. You know, interceptions, those are great. Those are exciting. But a pass rush that just frazzles the quarterback, even if Jay Cutler's not on the Bears anymore, seeing it is exciting.
That news was unbelievable.
That Jay Cutler's with the Dolphins.
I knew something smelled fishy when I woke up that morning. I was like, did I read that right?
And we don't play the Dolphins this year.
I know.
We meet them in the Super Bowl.
Would that be a story? Jay Cutler brings the Dolphins back.
That would be.
I can't. That's like a joke or something. It's like a nightmare.
Well, before we get back to the Packers talk, just briefly, they do have a much better offensive line than Jay had the past few years in Chicago. So
very true.
The Bears could still finish in last place and the Dolphins could be in the playoffs.
I can't remember. Were they in last year or they just missed last year?
I think they just missed when their quarterback went down with his injury.
Right. Okay.
Crazy.
Well, we did, of course, have Kenny Clark. Yes, Kenny Clark. Look for the second-year nose tackle. He's been crushing it in OTAs as well. Doesn't look like he's slowed down yet during camp. So he's carrying over his offseason work into camp, and it's going to be really good. And, of course, we picked him, Wayne, if you remember, as our step-up player with the Aussie Guys NFL fan podcast. So
yes.
Big things from Kenny Clark this year.
Yes, we were both thinking on the same page. I thought for sure you were going to pick somebody on the offensive side of the ball. But, yeah, Kenny Clark, we're looking forward to big, exciting things this season.
Yeah. Raji in the making, right? That's what we're hoping for.
That would be very nice indeed.
Well, everybody loves scoring and everybody loves offense. So let's talk about the other side of the ball and the big switch, of course. Ty Montgomery, now full year of practicing at the running back position. And surprisingly, he's looking to be every bit as dangerous out of the backfield as we thought he could be, especially when it comes to the passing game. He's getting out there off of the block and into the flat. Everything he's doing there looks like it's absolutely 100% on point. Now, in the first week of practices, it looked like his passing protection might have been a little bit of a challenge. But in the second week, he seems to maybe have done some correction in that regard. Because even though he was labeled as the number one running back by Coach McCarthy, the one that's really been interesting to watch during camp so far is Jamal Williams, selected 134 in the 2017 draft, if you don't recall from our draft episode. This young man is looking to be a really good pass blocker. So if you figure if we get Montgomery running at his 5 yards plus per carry average, granted we wouldn't even need third down then, but if we got to third down, what if we have Jamal Williams in there, do a little play action pass, since he's also a stoic runner from what he's been doing so far in camp, but to have that extra pass blocker in there on a play action pass, I could see balls flying down the field to Jordy, to Cobb, to Geronimo. I mean, heck, even Jeff Janis could snag one out of the air.
That would be nice indeed. Yeah, the fact that we need more of the running backs as well as the tight ends to really step up on the pass blocking and just blocking in general, I think this is a really good sign. I really am super excited by all of the weapons that we have this time.
Speaking of weapons, now this is unheard of. Remember last year when we had the debacle of the disappearance of the backfield, and we actually had to keep 2 fullbacks on the roster last year. We actually might be in that same position this year, because not only do we have the 2 brand new tight ends coming in, but you still have Richard Rodgers is doing fantastic work, and everything that Rodgers is throwing and Hundley's throwing inside of the red zone, these tight ends are snagging up. They haven't dropped one since. So the fact that we could have the potential of 3 tight ends as a red zone scoring package, and then double that up with one Ripkowski at the fullback spot, I think it's really interesting that if you actually take a look at Joe Carriage, I mean, he's been actually doing some really interesting things as well. He made the most of his opportunity after being activated off the practice squad last season, and he's really upped his game during the OTAs and then this first week of camp. He is literally leveling pass rushers and picking up the blitz packages. So I wouldn't be surprised if they might go 2 fullbacks again this year and 3 tight ends. But we'll have to wait and see, because the wide receiver position also very deep this year.
I guess we're not allowed to just roll out a 4 tight end set on second down and see what happens.
A 2 tight end set with 2 fullbacks would be interesting, though.
I'll take that. That's the next best thing.
We still have to figure out where to put that one extra person on the field, though.
Anywhere.
Can't line up just 10, although that would be interesting if we scored with just 10 on the field.
Yeah.
But the wide receivers are the ones that are really interesting. Now, Randall Cobb, hobbled with injuries last year. He looks like he's coming back into form after all of the slowdowns he had. So we can maybe see some things from Randall Cobb coming out of the slot again. Now that we got Devontae up to speed again, you got Jordy and Devontae most likely on the outsides at 1 and 2. So it'll be very interesting to see what packages Randall Cobb plays into the mix. But the one to watch out for so far in training camp is Max McCaffrey.
Really?
Jordy Nelson was actually heard saying jokingly that Max is hogging all the catches at camp this year. So I don't know how this is going to play out because there are 7, typically, let's say they keep 7 roster spots for wide receivers, right? So let's assume that you got Jordy, Devontae, Randall Cobb, that's 3, right? That leaves 4 spots. And more than likely, you're going to see those 4 spots go to Geronimo Allison, Trevor Davis. There's a potential Jeff Janis could slide in there, but his stock's a little down for camp this year. So maybe there'd be 2 spots open if they keep 7. And then you still have to go through the draft picks, right? Malachi Dupree and D'Angelo Yancey. Then you have Monte Crockett, Colby Pearson, Michael Clark, and Max McCaffrey. That's a lot of people vying for 2 spots on the team.
Oh, my.
So Max has got his work cut out for him. But Janis is still interesting because Janis and Davis are both great special teams players. So you could be looking at maybe 1 spot in the receiving core. So I'm going to pose the question out there. Do we think we have enough depth that maybe it's time to trade Cobb or trade Geronimo Allison after the big year he had last year?
Oh, my goodness. I don't even like hearing that kind of stuff mentioned. I'm nervous about losing that much talent.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, you could trade those people, or God forbid, release them because you'd want to get something for them, I would think. But you think trade pick or trade for picks for next draft. I mean, that could be a really interesting, or shore up some of the other spots, like for example, the defensive line, where we're a little bit hurting right now after the Guyon news with him being released, and then we have another one on an injury status right now that'll be out for maybe the first 2 games. So we're a little bit light on the defensive line. You could maybe do a little receiver defensive line swappage.
I say we have to keep Cobb no matter what.
But
I'll meet you halfway.
Okay, so maybe give up Allison in a trade potentially.
Although I don't want to, but I see your point. That makes sense.
I mean, there's just a lot of talent there, right? Especially if you spent the draft picks on Malachi and D'Angelo Yancey. I mean, those guys could even be swapped out for somebody potentially.
Yeah, I think Malachi Dupree is going to do really well and make the team, but I know we have 4 preseason games still to go through, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's an embarrassment of riches, and I guess even the Packers have to fit within that 53-man roster. So
that would do. But at least Guyon gave us $1.6 million against the cap back, so that's very nice. Thanks so much, LaTroy. I appreciate that. Now we got the O-line. I mean, things look a little bit different this year, right? It's not the same 5 guards as the years past. We've kind of washed away the old guard. We got the new guard in, but these 5 guys know how to protect AR-12. Pro Football Focus actually rated us as the 8th best offensive line coming into the preseason. That's ahead of Dallas Cowboys, who were ranked number 9. I think that's pretty telling because the Dallas Cowboys were the ones that had the best offensive line supposedly last year. So to be 1 ahead of them already, and watching what Lane Taylor's doing out there at the left guard position, I mean, he's been eating Mike Daniels' lunch all during training camp. I don't know if that's if that's the good thing for Lane Taylor stepping up or if that's Mike Daniels slowing down, but I hope not, because we need Mike Daniels to have a hell of a season also on the defensive side of the ball. But it's interesting to see how these things are shaking up. And can you believe, dare we say, that Don Barkley is actually having a pretty decent camp, and now he's been promoted to be the backup center?
I will believe anything. There just seems to be magic in the air this year. I know that injuries can change all that, but right now I'm not surprised, and I'm all for Don Barkley having his best season ever. I'm also for the fact that that things in the Dallas Cowboys world may be starting to fall off the tracks right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be exciting stuff to watch. I'm really geared up for the Eagles game Thursday night. It's going to be fantastic. 7:00 Central kickoff. I just want to see these guys play. It's been so long. Give us Packer football. It's almost here.
I know. And with football season, a lot of people lose track of the fact that football season, NFL football, has one of the longest off seasons around. I mean, it seems like hockey and basketball are always on. Football, and baseball as well, but football, man, and we have to wait. But if we played any longer seasons, imagine the injuries that would be happening. So we take what we get, we build up the anticipation. We're excited for preseason. Then by the second game, we're bored, and we can't wait for the regular season because September 10th is going to be one heck of an opener.
I mean, yeah, think about that, right? 17 weeks of a regular season, 4, maybe 5 weeks if you count the Hall of Fame game. That's 22. Plus you have your 3 playoff games. That's 25, week off 26, 27. So really you're talking football's only on half the year. That's a half a year of no football. I mean, I guess you got to watch the AFL. The Australian Football League is awesome, man. Yeah,
there's some wild stuff happening there. I totally miss NFL Europe. I used to watch a lot of that back in the day because you could get some good spring NFL-ish type of action, but the AFL in Australia is still pretty wild. That's pretty exciting stuff. I still don't have it figured out all the way. I mean, the field is ginormous. I feel like just running around that thing.
Yeah, like you almost need a chariot or something to get from one end of the field to the other.
I would not be surprised if they brought out chariots for third down.
It's about that crazy out there, I tell you. Oh, fun stuff. Well, luckily we were able to get some football here in Packer Nation before the preseason started with the annual Family Night scrimmage. And again, sold out crowd, although 63,000 fans only showed up because we had fireworks before and after the event. Some lightning rumbled there through town, kind of postponing things.
Yeah, I get, I'm here in Southern California. We don't have humidity much, and we don't even have weather much. But it seems like almost every year the preseason and Family Night is plagued by lightning and people being, put back into the concourse for their own safety, and games are delayed. I just kept waiting for Family Night to start. I finally had to run out and grab dinner. I mean, there was some passing rain showers. It was nice that I think is it the Milwaukee station, WTMJ?
You got it.
Yeah, their Apple TV app. I downloaded the app and I was able to just watch, and it was crystal clear, though I had to go get dinner and miss part of it. But it's just so great. I mean, no other team can boast that type of support. Only the Steelers even come close. And I know that on Family Night, Mason Crosby struggled, but, he's got that whole new kicking unit that's trying to build up, some sort of system. But I am not worried about Mason Crosby at all.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it's the long snapper holder combination. They just got to work those kinks out, and luckily there's still 4 weeks for that to happen. So cross fingers. We'll see how it goes against the Eagles. Aaron Rodgers did a Lambeau leap for the faithful. I thought that was kind of fun during the Family Night festivities.
Always fun. And a lot of action from Hundley as well, right?
Yeah. 2-minute touchdown drills. I thought he was fantastic in those in particular. So I think it was just a good all around fun again for everybody. It's I mean, how many people, we say this every year, how many people can sell out a practice?
Exactly. Not very many. That half of the teams in the NFL, even if they gave away the tickets, they couldn't even fill up a third of their stadium, a lot of them.
Well, unfortunately, even though it's been all good news and fun so far, there is some interesting news that we have to share. Wayne, of course, you've been ears to the ground, eyes to the sights. Tell us what's going on. Who's the movers and shakers? Who's coming off and on the team as of late?
It's amazing how much is happening, and there's all these names that I'm not as familiar with as in years past because of all the changes and the trades and retirements and people being kicked off the team. All of those things. I mean, the Packers added tight end Emmanuel Byrd, an undrafted rookie free agent from Marshall.
Did you say tight end?
Yes.
How many tight ends do we need?
Well, you never know what kind of offensive plays we may want to run out there. So I don't know why so many tight ends, but maybe we are retooling our offense to just really bulldoze some pass plays down the field. He was cut by the Kansas City Chiefs just the other day. And to make room for Bird, the Packers placed cornerback Herb Waters on injured reserve with a shoulder injury. And I know there's always injuries, but anytime I hear the word injury when it concerns a Packer, I get a little nervous, Troy.
And that was a tough one too, because I think a lot of people were looking for Herb to, contribute to the secondary this year, and so to see him go down so early, that's kind of a bummer. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So heal up, Herb. Next season is all you.
Absolutely, we're going to be ready for that. And 4 players from the 90-man roster didn't suit up for practice. Linebacker Vince Beagle, we've been hoping for great things from him. He's got a foot thing. Cornerback Dimitri Goodson has a knee thing. And they're going to also remain on the physically unable to perform list. Also, tight end Bo Sandland. I haven't even heard that name before. I don't even know where I've been. He's got a knee issue going on. He went
Did you
down.
say tight end?
Yes. There's a thing going on. So maybe that's why so many tight ends are being brought in. But
who knows?
He went down in practice earlier this week, and defensive tackle Montravius Adams with a foot issue as well. He underwent surgery earlier in camp. He's expected to be out 6 weeks, which sounds like a lot. But if he gets back and things are fine, that's not quite half the season. So I think it will be just fine. So we don't need to worry about that 4-game suspension like you talked about with Letroy Guion, because he's now guy off the team. That's the kind of comedy you normally just get from Troy. The Packers released Guion this week, but this begs the question of, is Ted going to be looking for some more D linemen out on waivers in the coming weeks? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, with Montravius Adams being out, although he was signed, he's going to be out, I think, probably the first 2 games of the season to make that 6-week mark from the surgery. So it's a little light on that D-line again. So I'm a little bit nervous there. So I would hope that instead of bringing in 2 more tight ends, let's bring in a defensive lineman, Ted. See what's going on.
So the 6 weeks, that counts preseason.
Yeah, 6 weeks from the surgery. So since he did that earlier in camp, I mean, we're assuming that we're already like week 1 into that 6-week period. So I would expect him to contribute yet this year. But those first 2 weeks, we're still going to have someone in there.
That's true.
And Guion would have been technically suspended for those first 4 games.
That's true.
So
I know.
That's a hole right there. So we're down 2 defensive linemen right out of the gate. So that's something we got to take a look at for that Seattle game, especially.
Well, I do hope that Letroy Guion gets help and gets things turned around, and maybe even finds another NFL team that can take him under their wing and really bring him up and help things to work out well for him. And I'm thankful that the 6 weeks is not 6 weeks of NFL regular season, and that by the second week, things will be getting back to normal with some of these injuries.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about Guion, that if he does get picked up by another NFL team, if that happens after the season starts, let's say he gets picked up in week 2, then the week 1 game actually doesn't count as one of his suspended games. So he would start that 4-game suspension even with the new team at the start of whenever he signs. Let's say if he signs week 3, he's out 3, 4, 5, 6 before he could come back. So I don't know if he's going to be picked up anywhere this year. It's a tough road for him.
Well, injuries happen on other teams as well, so sometimes that can work in his favor. But I've got groundbreaking news though, Troy.
Oh, I'm all pins and needles.
Would you believe we may have found our punter finally?
Wow, really?
We may have a punter. Because there was so much chaos last year. We thought we had a punter, and then the one we were hanging our hopes on, they traded him away. Justin Vogel has the hang time, the placement, and the distance so far in camp. But stranger things have happened with the punting unit, like I said, last year. So we'll see, but it can't get as crazy as last year. Justin Vogel, get used to that name.
Yeah, stranger things happen on Netflix too. So
that's right about Halloween.
Exactly. All right. Well, Falling Stars camp that hasn't been so good for a few people. Perennial fan favorite Jeff Janis looks like the talent is finally starting to pass him up. Now, granted, he still is a solid monster on special teams, so that might be his one saving grace. But like we mentioned, the wide receiver core is deep. And yes, Janis can catch Hail Marys, but stalwart on special teams. I don't know. Maybe this is the year Jeff goes the way of the dodo.
That would be too bad, but This 53-man roster requirement's really cutting into my dreams of keeping everybody.
I know. Why not 55? Just make it just an even number. It looks cool on paper. Damaris Randall. Can you believe Damaris Randall, one former rookie superstar? He is actually, not been on the good side lately. He's actually taken less reps too with the first team. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe this is his Devontae Adams year, and then maybe next year is his breakout year.
That could be. I haven't heard anything about what might be causing this.
And then I feel bad for you there, Wayne, because Kyler Fackrell, this guy's been a zombie during camp. I mean, you think he's more interested in eating brains than actually rushing the passer.
What?
So, yeah, he's literally been non-existent in drills and matchups from the stuff I've seen in camp so far. So I don't know what's going on with Fackrell. Hopefully he gets his head in the game, and because we really need some pass rushers.
Yes, we do. Maybe a late summer flu or Stephen King, The Stand super flu. Well, hopefully not that.
You and your flus.
Well, I don't know. Just come on, Kyler. There's still time to turn this around. Get things amped up. We're looking for you in game 1 and 2 of the preseason.
Speaking of game 1 of the preseason, who we got first out of the gate there, Wayne?
Well, this Thursday night, by the time you hear this, it'll probably already be Thursday. So tonight, Eagles at Packers preseason game. Doug Peterson's Eagles. The Doug Peterson that used to be Brett Favre's backup quarterback says that this current Eagles team is more talented than the Packers team that he was on behind Brett Favre that won the Super Bowl.
Shut your mouth. Those are some big words.
Those I know there's a lot of motivational hyperbole that goes on, but that's like, I find it highly improbable.
That's right up there with we want the ball and we're going to score.
I feel bad for Matt Hasselbeck, but that was one of the greatest moments.
That was so good. So good.
I mean, that's one of those things where, and he laughs about it now, but it's going to be one of those things where it's just going to be brought up for the rest of his career on television. Hey, remember this highlight? Yeah. Oh, Seahawks. Oh, my goodness. Well, according to the Packers official dope sheet, which we will link to in the show notes at PackersFanPodcast.com/132, this will be the 16th time Green Bay and Philly have met during the preseason. The Eagles lead the preseason series, so they can brag about that, 9 games to 6. And the Packers and Eagles last played each other during the preseason in 2015, a 39-26 road victory by Philadelphia. Again, preseason. The cool part about it, though, is Thursday night marks another Green Bay preseason tradition, the Bishop's Charities game. It was first played in 1961 after Vince Lombardi was approached by the diocese in Green Bay about playing a charitable contest in Green Bay because the Shrine Contest, as you know, as a Milwaukee person, was a fixture in Milwaukee. And the Packers are 31-24-1 all time in the Bishop's Charities game series. What say you, Sir Troy?
I think that's a victory for tomorrow night or tonight, depending on when you're listening to this.
And preseason's funny because a lot of the games aren't shown live, in all areas. So just watching it, I think it's going to be airing in my area like Friday afternoon at 1:00 or something. I'll be recording it so I can watch it. But what was it you said? Do they still have the plan where you can buy that package and see all the preseason games live, or at least listen to them?
They sure do. It's online streaming via the NFL Game Pass. $99 gets you all the preseason action live as it happens. You can stream it right to your Apple TV or other AirPlaying device. And the best part about it is that you get all the game rewinds all season long. So if you want to go back, coaches camp, things of that nature, definitely check out the NFL Game Pass. $99 gets you all access for the entire season. As Wayne mentioned, also the NFL Network replays are going to be Friday, August the 11th at 3 p.m. Central, Sunday, August 13th at 3 a.m. Central.
Oh, good.
Monday. Yeah, I'll be up for that one. And Monday, August 14th at 3 p.m. Central. So you got 3 chances there to see the game if you don't have the Game Pass or out of the area. If you are in the area, you can see the game on the Packers Television Network with Kevin Harlan and Rich Gannon commenting. That will include stations NBC 26 in Green Bay, NBC Channel 4 in Milwaukee, ABC 27 in Madison, ABC 9 in Wausau, ABC 18 in Eau Claire, and ABC 19 in La Crosse. But because we are an equal opportunity podcast here at the Packers Fan Podcast, if you are an Eagles fan, I do have friends of mine that are Eagles fans here in Chicago even.
Yeah, you do.
You can catch the Eagles television network with Scott Graham and Mike Mayock commentating on NBC 10 in Philadelphia, Fox 43 in Harrisburg, Fox 56 in Scranton, and My 29 in State College.
Lots of opportunities. Now, that NFL Game Pass, during the preseason, you get the video of the game as well for preseason?
Yes, you get the whole shebang.
Oh, okay.
So watch it live and then watch it again and then watch it again. And no, we wanted to watch that much preseason.
Yeah, once or twice should be more than enough. A couple of quick tidbits that jumped out from the dope sheet regarding this upcoming preseason game is the fact that this is the 12th season for Mike McCarthy as the Green Bay Packers coach. And coincidentally enough, that's the same amount of time that I've been podcasting. Mike McCarthy reached the 100-win plateau faster than any active NFL head coach. He did that in only 155 games. Of course, that helps when you're coaching the Green Bay Packers. And the fact that Packers guard Jari Evans, he's a Philadelphia native, so he has some ties there, attending Bloomsburg. Is that how you say that? Bloomsburg?
At Bloomsburg University. Yep.
I love the sound of that. And he's a part owner of the Philadelphia Soul Arena Football League.
Oh, that's so cool.
There you go. We're part owners of the Green Bay Packers. He's part owner of the Philadelphia Soul.
Arena football is freaking fun. I love arena football.
Every play's a touchdown.
That's right.
What are some of the keys to the game of victory in this preseason matchup, Troy?
Oh my gosh. Well, should be a no-brainer, but the cornerbacks for the Philadelphia Eagles are not the best in the league. And since we're probably going to see mostly Hundley in this preseason, because this is his preseason to shine, Hundley is going to have to really figure out how to take advantage of the matchups against those cornerbacks. So if they come out man-to-man, we should be able to completely pick them apart, I would think, right out of the gate, especially out of the first quarter, because the cornerbacks, not so good. Now, number two, in the running back side of things, we'll probably see a lot from both Wendell Smallwood and Corey Clement coming out of the backfield, which I think that'll be a really good test for the front seven to show their run-stopping potential, especially if we have the second team in there. So if we can hold down Wendell and Corey, I think we'd be in pretty good shape to see what that front seven looks like out of the gate, because those two are actually in a battle for the top spot on the Eagles roster. So I don't think they're going to let their guard down, assuming that they have the number one spot. So there'll be some competition there, I think, this week. So it'll be fun to watch. And then number three, same thing with those front people in the defensive line. The linebackers need to step up. I mean, you heard Wayne say, Doug Peterson said, this is the best team ever that he's been with since the one he was on with the Packers in the Super Bowl. That's, enough motivation, I think, that we should just be pass rushing all freaking day long. Because if we can break down that Eagles O-line and get to quarterback, I'm assuming Matt McGloin is going to get most of the action on Thursday night. If we can get him shaken up, granted, it might be second team defense against third string, second string quarterbacks. But at the same time, if you can get victories build confidence, and confidence builds championships. So let's get some confidence this week out of the gate. And then, of course, Jordan Matthews and Nelson Aguilar are going to be most likely working out of the slot on offense. So that'll give our secondary a good test of their talents and packages this week. If we can contain those two, the Philly passing game will crumble very quickly in this contest.
That would
and
be
then, of
too
course, I know I'd be so sad to watch, 50-0. People might think it's arena football.
There you go.
And field position, number 5, is obviously the name of the game, and no one's looking to capitalize on that more than Justin Vogel. Most likely will be kicking to his former high school teammate. That's right, Nelson Aguilar will be returning the punts most likely. Again, stranger things have happened on the punting front, and especially in the last couple of years. So Justin is off to a good start. Good, may still not be good enough. We'll have to wait and see.
That's very intriguing. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some Packers-Eagles football, preseason or not. It's going to be magical. This season's going to be magical, and then, we have a few more preseason games. I'm glad, last year we thought we were going to have to play 5 preseason games, and then that one got canceled, so we really only had 4. But please, No new injuries, ladies and gentlemen of the Green Bay Packers.
And Aaron has come out and said that there is no correlation between not taking snaps in preseason and the slow start to the season. Because remember, we got 5 out of 6 NFC North division titles. I think we're good.
Yep. 6 out of 7 coming your way.
That's right.
That's right. Packers fans.
So what do you think, Wayne? I know what the over-under is, but I didn't tell you. So I'm just curious what you're going to pick for a score for preseason game 1.
I don't even know if we pick scores for preseason, but I just have a feeling, especially based on the things you touched about, the keys of the game, I do think that our defense is going to want to make a statement. We're at Lambeau Field. The Eagles, just that soundbite from Doug Peterson alone is going to fire up some defense. I could see, I don't know, Packers 38, Eagles 11.
Wow.
It's preseason. Okay. We're
so
at home. Score points.
Score points. You definitely have the over then, my friend. I think this one's coming in around 32. And I had actually kind of a closer game because I do think that the Eagles are a better team this year. Doug Peterson out in his second year outing. So he's got a full kind of run at this to see what he's going to do as head coach. So I'm going to say Packers 21, Eagles 17.
Oh, okay.
Which is still on the over. So I think the over has it this week.
All right. Well, that's going to be interesting to see whether we watch it Sunday at 3 a.m. or whatever those crazy replay times are. Luckily, most people are in the Wisconsin area and will be able to watch it live.
Yes. NFL Game Pass for me up to the Apple TV. Worked out great last preseason. I can't wait this year.
I need to find a quick $99.
Well, you might be able to get it on your WTMJ app now because it is going to air on NBC4.
I'm going to give it a shot. I have a feeling it'll be mysteriously blacked out, but
yeah,
I'll give it a shot.
Why not? Stranger things have happened.
Yes, and it's preseason, so even the people in charge of the blackouts in different areas, that everybody's in preseason form. Anything could happen.
It's supposed to be blacked out, but it works. We got to fix that for next week.
Just put your hands on your Apple TV and say, yeah.
With that, we'll say, the unofficial Packers fan podcast is not affiliated with the NFL or the Green Bay Packers. However, now is the perfect time to make that happen. We are here. Just contact us, or if you know anybody that works in the organization, tell them about us. Let them know to email us at media@PackersFanPodcast.com, and we'd love to have a conversation. But more importantly, don't forget to become this year's Packers Fan Podcast MVP. That's right, PackersFanPodcast.com/support. Give as little as $1 or $4 at the Brett Favre level. You get awards all along the scale there. So check those out. PackersFanPodcast.com/support to help make the podcast even better in our 7th year.
Unbelievable. And unlike some television football games, the Packers Fan Podcast does not get blacked out anywhere that we know of. And you can take us on the go for free with our Packers Fan Podcast apps for iOS and Android. Just go to PackersFanPodcast.com/iOS or PackersFanPodcast.com/Android. Follow the links. Go from there. Take us on the go. Also, follow us on Twitter, won't ya? We are at PackersFanPod, and my personal account on Twitter is at Wayne Henderson.
And me, I'm at Troy Heinrichs. I'll be there at Cincinnati game for the gold package this year. I am also tentatively slated to go to a second game this year, and I'm either hoping to potentially get to that Dallas game if I can get tickets. If not, that's going to be a bummer because I'd really love to go down to the Dallas game. But I may even see if I can get into Bears-Packers here in Chicago. So I might be hitting 3 this year.
Oh. Well, we might be hoping that if you do make those games that you can do a little bit of Facebook Live action before the game starts.
Absolutely. Right. So that's at Troy Heinrichs on Twitter. And, of course, the PackersFanPodcast.com/Facebook to go ahead and like the page and be ready for those Facebook live streams coming later in 2017.
And be sure to get your feedback ready. The season is upon us, and we want to hear your thoughts. Go to PackersFanPodcast.com/feedback. Let your voice be heard. Keep the conversations going online. The regular season, September 10th, is around the corner, but there's still lots of fun stuff to talk about during the preseason. So until the next episode of the show in a couple of weeks, we just want to thank you for listening to the Packers Fan Podcast.
They didn't say it any better on the Game of Thrones episode, so shall we begin? The 2017 season is here. Let's get it started right. It's the Eagles and Packers. Preseason game 1. Give it up. Start it out. Do it right. Go Pack, go!